So my husband and I refinanced our mortgage today because interest rates dropped and it was enough to save us $300 a month. However, I have in my hands the amortization schedule, which is how long it's going to take us to pay off said mortgage and how much would go towards principal and interest each month. And I want to use this to talk to you about why home buying in America is an absolute fucking scam and why this will be the last house we ever buy in this country. So just really quick facts, it's a standard 30-year mortgage. It's a VA loan, so I didn't have to put anything down in order to refinance, and I don't have to pay any mortgage insurance, which is what normal people have to pay when they don't put 20% down.
All right, so mortgage insurance is called PMI. It's called private mortgage insurance, and it's what you have to pay. For a lot of you, you already know this, but I don't want no man left behind. I want to be able to add the context so y'all know exactly what she's communicating. All right. That means that it's basically insurance against yourself defaulting because you're putting so little down on the house. So your regular insurance, what you're still paying that, but now if you put less than 20% down, if you have less than 20% equity in the house, a lot of people like to put 3.5% down. Some people are taking VA loans. Well, in that case, you have to pay private mortgage insurance. It's an additional amount of money that you have to pay in order to basically prevent yourself from being able to default against yourself. It's insurance against you defaulting against yourself because you put down less than 20% on the mortgage. Most people have 30-year mortgages. Most interest rates, whether you buy a car or you get a mortgage, you're front loading it, meaning that the majority of what you're paying in interest is going to go, or let me say it again. The majority of what your payment is doing is going towards interest with very little going towards the principal. So when people say, man, it's better to buy a house, unless you stay in it for the next 15 years or pay off the mortgage, it really doesn't matter. Most people, they wind up paying two or three times more than what the house is worth by the time that they pay it off. And that's not including maintenance. That's not including insurance. That's not including repairs. That's not including property taxes. And so when people refinance, most people that finance, and the banks have sold y'all on the idea of getting the most house that you can get based off of how much you can afford and getting a 30-year mortgage. So if you're 40, you're going to be paying it till you're 70. And that's not even including all of the other things that I just named. And you got to hope that your kids keep it. And then that's considering that you never refinance. The problem with most people is that they all go based off of their payment instead of going based off of what they need. Most people go based off of their payment instead of what they need. So when you talk to people and you say, hey, man, you know, what's going on? What's your housing situation? Oh, my mortgage payment is. You see people that's buying a house, by default, they never even consider a 10-year or a 15-year. They never even consider putting more down because they going based off of the payment. Oh, man, my payment is going to be, and they're measuring their payment based off of how much they make. My payment is still going to be, and the bank is depending on you to do that. And then when you get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years into your mortgage, or you get some equity into it, they're going to say, hey, man, you can refinance, right? Refinance for what? Pull some money out of your home in order to make some investments, pay down debt, send the kids to college. Your home is an investment vehicle. No, your home is supposed to be a way for you to keep a roof over your head so you don't get rained on and turn into being homeless. And so you don't lose your job and then have a year to try to find one, and then you wind up losing your house because you're going to foreclosure because you can't afford the home. It's banking on the idea that you're going to be able to hold down some of the same jobs or similar jobs for the next 30 plus a year, and you don't refinance. That is a heck of a gamble. That is a heck of a gamble. So a lot of times what people will wind up doing is they'll refinance and then they start to look at the numbers, which they never look at when they're signing the numbers, when they're going through the, refinancing. They don't look at it. And so if you actually looked at the numbers or you looked at your statements, you realize, man, I only got this much going to the principal. And then you got to pay this much. 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 And then you got to paying down the actual amount that the house that's owed on the house, and I'm giving all of my money over to interest. But everybody is in on a scam. Titling companies, mortgage companies are gonna sell your mortgage. Let me let her cook. I'm sorry. I'm up here giving too much, trying to break it down for you.
Because we didn't put anything down, I went from owing $784,000 on my.
All right, I got a question. Why are y'all financing homes for 780? Why are y'all buying $1 million homes? Why are y'all buying? You are right, Darren. Salesmen don't discuss prices. They discuss payment. That is the number one rule in sales. You discuss the thing that they can afford, not the thing that's going to throw them off. You don't want to say, hey, man, listen, the price of this home is $1 million. You say, hey, man, your mortgage payment will be, hey, the price of this car is $70,000. You say, well, listen, we giving pretty good interest rates, and we got this deal where you can basically get it in, and this is what your payment is going to be. Why are y'all buying $700,000, $800,000, $900,000 homes, man? Y'all smoking crack. Honestly, y'all are genuinely smoking crack. I don't think that I would ever finance a $1 million home. Maybe I will. I don't know. I never say never. Maybe I finance it and try to pay it all off within a year or something like that because your money is tied up in other investments. 30 years, $1 million. I know her mortgage payment got to be at least, it's got to be $5,000 or more. She got to have a $5,000 plus mortgage payment or more.
My home back up to $795,000. But my original interest rate on this house was 6.2%, and now it is 5.6%. We are planning on selling this house when my husband retires in 4 years and exiting the U.S. So, of course, I was interested to see what will I owe.
They might as well to rent it. What's the point of buying a home if you're planning on leaving the United States of America? Within 4 years, you might as well have sold it and then go on rent and then take the money. Whatever. I don't get it. These people really need an advisor. They need a coaching call.
At that time in 2030. And at that point in 2030, we will owe just under $750,000. So I will only have paid off $50,000 worth of my mortgage in the next 4 years.
Principal.
But the math ain't mathin' because my payment is $5,700 a month.
I knew it. The math is mathin'. Nobody hid no fees from you. Nobody told you to do anything differently. The math is mathin'. You are paying interest. Yes, on a 30-year mortgage. And so you then only going to have $50,000 in equity, even though you're paying over $60,000 a year towards your mortgage. You're paying over $60,000 a year for your mortgage, but you're only going to have $50,000 in equity, and y'all going to sit here and tell me that it makes sense. And that ain't, again, it ain't including property taxes, maintenance, issues, breakdowns, insurance, none of that stuff, and PMI.
$5,700 a month times 50 payments is $285,000. And if you look at the schedule, it tells you, oh yeah, you're financing $795,000, but if you kept this interest rate over 30 years, you're actually going to end up paying $1.6 million.
More than double, you're going to pay, what did I say? You're going to pay for the house 2 to 3 times over by the time that you finish paying it off.
But the biggest scam of all is how much interest they charge you the first year you own the house.
It's not a scam.
And I have other videos on this. I've talked about it. Again, I put myself in this situation. It is what it is. The point is I'm calling out the banks because they are fucking ridiculous.
Y'all amaze me how y'all get mad at the banks. That's something that you sign up for. Y'all sit there and promote it to each other every day. Why you rent? Well, you need to be buying. Y'all promote more than anybody in the world, but then you get mad at the banks and say it's a scam. It's not a scam. They didn't scam you. You know exactly. Look at all of the paperwork. They're giving you the documentation to show you what you're going to pay. It lists it by law. It lists it. Hey, this is what you're going to wind up paying. At the end of all of this, are you sure that you want to sign this? You sure you want it? You sure? Are you positive that you want to sign it? Initial here, sign here. You sure you want to do it? Oh, now he's scamming you. Okay.
First of all, when you come to closing, we bought $7,000 to closing. They make you pay $3,500 in upfront interest. So not only are your first 12 payments horrendously just put towards interest, but then you have to bring extra money to closing just to pay interest upfront. Now, I will say this, our principal and interest amount is $4,500, and it's our taxes that are additional $1,000, which is how we get to that $5,700 number. Our first payment is 11/1 coming up, right? $4,500 payment, only $849 of that goes to principal. And every month after that, only $4 extra of your payments goes towards principal. My very first payment, $4,500 payment, $3,700 of that.
Sound like they should have joined the Bag Chasers on Patreon last night for Block Club, because Anton was giving game. Shout out to all of the Patreon members. Shout out to all of the Bag Chasers that was tuned in. We only streamed for an hour, but it seemed like we streamed for 3 because it was jam-packed with receipts, informations, walkthroughs, videos, everything. Gave y'all the whole shebang, didn't hold anything back. Didn't matter if you was a beginner, didn't matter if you was a veteran, didn't matter if you had been doing it for 20 years, if you had just now trying to figure out what is this thing and how should I approach getting... Woo! Woo!
Goes to interest. So even though over the next 12 months, I'm going to make roughly $54,000 in principal and interest payments, not including taxes, according to the amortization schedule, I won't even have paid down the mortgage a total of $10,000. And not for nothing. Again, remember, I was down to about $784,000 before I decided to refinance to save money. But 12 months from now, I'm going to owe the exact same amount of money on this house as I did yesterday before I refinanced. And so that just goes to say that refinancing is also a fucking scam. Because you claim that you're saving me money, but in the end, you always gonna get your money back. And while I get to cash out my escrow account from my previous mortgage and I don't have to pay my mortgage in all of October and you're handing me $14,000, you're literally just framing it like you're paying me in girl math, but in reality, I'm spending way more money with the bank. And because we want to sell the home in 4 years, it literally doesn't make sense for us to refinance again, because even if we did with an even lower interest rate, we wouldn't be able to recoup that because most of that first years of payments would go directly to interest. So the only thing that we can hope for now is that when we get our mortgage down $50,000 down to $747,
shout out to you,
hope
little
that
city.
we can sell our home
That's
for
dope.
maybe $850, maybe, and hope we can. That doesn't even include realtor fees and things like that. Maybe we'll be able to sell our home and leave the U.S. with $50,000 in our pocket. It is not worth it. Home buy.
Yeah, she's not gonna be able to do it because you got to pay real estate fees, which that's about 6%, 3 to 6%. That's gonna eat up the majority of that. So dumb.
Buying in this country is an absolute scam. And I hate that the only other options are rent from someone who's paying a mortgage to the same bank or be homeless.
Yeah, there's other options, but they not bag chasers. And if they was bag chasers, they would be able to do it. But it's not a scam. You just got to be careful what you sign up for.